We got two stragglers coming in. Perfect. We are ready to begin this evening's neighborhood board meeting. Everyone, welcome to the Waiʻalae Kāhala Neighborhood Board number 3 meeting for this evening. It is currently May 15th, 7:03 p.m. and we are ready to get down to business. Let's see. First off, the Honolulu Fire Department. Do we have any representatives from the Honolulu Fire Department? I see a gentleman with his hand raised right there.
Yeah, I can start.
How are we doing this evening?
Good, thank you. My name is Captain Ahuna from the Kaimaki Fire Station. For the April statistics, we have fires, structure fire 1, wildland brush fires 1, nuisance fires, which are fires that include rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle, that was 0. Cooking fires 0, and activated alarms were 0. For emergencies, we had medical, we had 36 medicals, 1 motor vehicle collision with pedestrian, 2 motor vehicle crash collisions, 0 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues, and 0 hazardous material incidents. Fire safety tip and announcement for May 2025, home fire sprinklers. We're going to concentrate on fire sprinklers that serve as the first line of defense against fires and often extinguish the fire before the fire department arrives. For more information, you can visit homefiresprinkler.org. Some bullet points. Fire spreads quickly. A fire can turn deadly in under 2 minutes. Synthetic materials burn quickly and release deadly poisonous smoke. High-risk individuals in home fires include small children, elderly adults, those with disabilities, and pets. Fire sprinklers can protect your home and family and activate automatically to control the fire, thereby giving everyone a chance to escape. The best protection is having working smoke alarms, fire sprinklers, and a practice fire escape plan. More information about Honolulu's ordinances relating to fire safety is available at fire.honolulu.gov. That's all I have today.
Well, thank you, Captain Ahuna, for that lovely report. Does anybody on the board have any questions from the gentleman from the Honolulu Fire Department? Anybody in the community have any questions? Oh, we've got one for you right here.
Sure.
Do you happen to be able to disclose where that pedestrian collision took place?
Yeah, so this one was in April, end of April. I believe it was on Harding Ave and 5th Ave, right that light to the freeway entrance. A lady was crossing the street there, and auto was making a left turn, I believe, and didn't see her.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, does anybody else in the community have any questions for Captain Ahuna? I believe that's it. Captain, thank you so much for your time this evening.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You have a good one. All right, up next, do we have a representative from the Honolulu Police Department? Representative from the Honolulu Police Department.
Lieutenant Taro from District 7. Okay, these are stats for April as compared to the previous month. Motor vehicle thefts were 7 as compared to 8. Burglaries were 5 as compared to 1. Thefts in general were 11 as compared to 16. And UEMVs, which is theft from autos, was 9 as compared to 2. This out of total calls for service. Statistical information can be found at honolulupd.org. And our since it's May, it's getting into like weird weather, summer, and it's just tsunami facts. Whenever there's an earthquake around the whole Pacific Rim, there's a danger of that kind of activity generating tsunamis, and it's vitally important. You know, history has taught us that it's absolutely vitally important to be aware of them. If you guys don't know, it ties into that. There's that honoluluhnl.info app that you can download to your cell phones, or if you want, you can go to honolulu.gov/DEM for Department of Emergency Management, and over there they have a pretty interesting app where you can to punch in your address, and it'll tell you whether you're in a safe tsunami evacuation zone or an extreme tsunami evacuation zone. So that's something that might be good to check out beforehand, so you have the information that you need if something like that happens. God forbid it doesn't happen, but it's color coded. It's pretty interesting. And again, the warnings, the different warnings, watches, advisories are saying something might happen. The ones that we have to worry about are the tsunami warning. That means it's imminent, and the extreme tsunami warning, which means a very large catastrophic event might be occurring. Okay, and that's our safety tip for the month.
Thank you very much for that report. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
Aloha, Lieutenant. My name is Aloha McGuffey, and I live on the coastline of our neighborhood board, of our Waiʻalae Kāhala community. And is there somewhere I can go to where residents who live close to the shoreline in our district can go to when there's a tsunami? Is there a plan where people from different
Sure,
sections
yeah,
go
so
to?
the easiest way to do it is just like I explained. If you're on a computer, just go to that www.honolulu.gov/DEM. Put it in, pop up that site. Go in. You can find there's a link for tsunami, and then put in your address, and then it'll show you where you are on the map, and then it'll show like red, yellow, green areas. So those areas are the areas that you want to evacuate to. Now, I mean, tsunami, so common sense, you want to go uphill as high as you can. But that's a really good, actually a really good program that they have over there, which can help you out. And it's based on, you can find your own specific neighborhood with that program. So highly advise it.
Okay, well, I just asked because when I was in Manoa and we were starting the Be Ready Manoa program, one of the biggest issues we had was where do people on the shoreline specifically go to? I mean, we can all drive Mauka, but is there a place where we would be able to remain and be served by the city and county or the state in whatever needs that may come up, whether it's food or water, other than what we may bring with us? That's all.
Yeah, well, it depends on that situation, and usually if it's a catastrophic type situation, they will set up emergency locations, usually at the schools. But again, that would depend on that situation at that time. Yeah, it's not going to be for every tsunami warning.
Perfect. Does anybody else on the board have any questions for the representative from the Honolulu Police Department? Anybody in the community have any questions for Lieutenant Nakamura? Lieutenant, we are all good this evening. Thank you so much for your time. It is greatly appreciated.
Oh, take care.
Have a good one.
Me too.
Let's see, up next, our representative from the Board of Water Supply. Do we have a representative from the Board of Water Supply?
Good evening. Lorna's here. Can you
Hey,
hear
Lorna,
me?
how we doing?
Good. I will have a very quick announcement. As usual, there are no main breaks to report for the last month. The tip that I have is for summer water conservation. So the sun is turning up, the heat and the summer is just around the corner. So it's important to ensure we're saving every drop of water to keep our community strong and sustainable today and for generations to come. So I just want to give you some easy tips to save water this summer. Water your plants early in the morning to reduce evaporation. Take shorter showers, usually 5 minutes, what we recommend. Check for toilet leaks. And for this one, the culprit is usually a faulty flapper. Also, don't let your faucet run and apply for our Board of Water Supply rebates on water efficient appliances that's available on our website. Just saving water not only helps conserve this precious resource, but it also can help lower your water bill. And then if you want to get more tips on conservation efforts, go to our website, www.boardofwatersupply.com/ 7 ways. That's my announcement I have for this month. Does anybody have any questions?
Awesome. Thank you, Lorna. Anybody on the board have any questions? Board of Water Supply? Anybody in the community? Questions for the Board of Water Supply? Miss Lorna, it is a pleasure as
Hi.
always. Thank you so much for your
Yep.
time.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Oh. Up next, the one, the only, my favorite, Casey Abe. Where are you hiding?
Good evening, Chair Christian and members of the Kāhala Neighborhood Board. KCR from the State DOT Highways Division. Thank you for placing me after the Board of Water Supply presentation. But at last month's meeting, I mentioned the graffiti artists are still out there, but fortunately, our maintenance crew is trying to keep up with them. During my field investigation this past Tuesday, the graffiti artists are still out there and the homeless are still breaking our locks and trying to set up camp in a right of way. I'll work with our maintenance crew to address the new graffiti and install a new lock on our gate. Our maintenance crew installed a new lock on the gate at Waiʻalae New Extreme Bridge where the homeless enters the drainage canal. Our maintenance crew also contacted the Board of Water Supply to replace the damaged handhold cover at the intersection of Hunakai Street. They repaired the pedestrian sidewalk at the 19th Avenue pedestrian overpass to prevent any tripping accident and tort claims against the Highways Division. And they replaced the temporary asphalt patch with concrete at the Anakoa Avenue sidewalk, which is more durable and looks a lot better. During my field investigation, I noticed there is a lot of overgrowth at the Makamakai side of the Kapakai Stream Bridge. I'll work with our maintenance crew to clear the overgrowth in preparation for our upcoming hurricane season. And finally, last week, Tuesday through Thursday, our maintenance crew closed the middle lane of Waiʻalae Avenue for motorists traveling westbound to the H1 freeway on-ramp so we could take a proactive approach of trimming the trees on the on-ramp where branches needed to be trimmed before an accident occurs from a falling branch and to prepare for the upcoming hurricane season. Unfortunately, there was a miscommunication because the crew were supposed to just trim the trees, specifically the branches that was on the verge of falling, and not butcher the tree, cutting all of the branches and leaving it bare with no leaves. I apologize to the neighborhood board and the public for our maintenance crew going overboard with the tree trimming. We will monitor the trees and hope they survive. If not, we'll work with our maintenance crew to plant new trees. But the temporary closure of the ramp also allowed us to do some other maintenance work on the on-ramp and adjacent areas, like cutting the grass, filling potholes, and repairing the damaged highway lighting foundation. We will install a new highway lighting standard as soon as we receive it from our supplier. This concludes my report. If you have any questions, I can take it at this time.
Casey, as always, thank you so much for the work that you're doing out there in the community. The entry, the egress, and the ingress are looking phenomenal. The roads are smooth. It is greatly appreciated. Does anybody on the board have any questions for Mr. Abe? Anybody in the community? Oh, Casey, got one here for you.
Sure.
What steps are being taken to ensure such miscommunication doesn't happen anymore?
I would have to again talk in this situation. We emailed my fellow district engineer and his maintenance engineer. In the future, I would have to call up their call them directly and also talk to their landscape architect to make sure that they're out there directing the maintenance people on trimming the trees instead of just letting them go. So we need more oversight to our maintenance crew in the future.
Thank you. Also, last month you mentioned the retrofits to the Kāhala Viaduct.
Yes.
I happened to notice that in the university, that like overpass area, they installed those little nets so that the birds couldn't like nest over there and poop on the sidewalk. Do you know if this retrofit will include those nets across like those cross beams over there so the birds don't poop on the cars under the viaduct?
I would have to go look at it, investigate, and I'll get back to you next month.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and then Casey, I just wanted to follow up to see if there had been any movement on those letters that we had sent in regarding Mojito Sakai and his incident or accident at I believe it's Waiʻalae and Hunakai, and the red light camera installations for 21st Waiʻalae, Hunakai, Waiʻalae, and
Did you folks, I didn't receive a copy of that, so I would have to go ask my administration, but um, another thing I noticed that if your elected officials can also email me and follow up about that incident, I can forward it to our administration for action.
Absolutely. We'll resubmit on our side too, just to make sure everybody gets it again. Thank you very much. All right, awesome. Casey, as always, it's a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. All right, up next, filling vacancies. What is the one vacancy we have right now? Subdistrict 1. Which one is Subdistrict 1? That's your district. We have a vacancy for Subdistrict 1. Is there a resident here from Subdistrict 1 who would like to join the neighborhood board? Benefits include dental, medical, a high rate of pay, 5 weeks paid vacation, 6 weeks paid vacation. All right. I'm not hearing anything right now. On to the next. Does anybody on the board have any attendance at other meetings to report? Nope, 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 nope. To the next. All right. Do we have Patty Jetty or another representative of the governor with us here this evening? Miss Patty Jetty.
Aloha mai kako. So, by the way, 6 weeks of vacation, sign me up. Anyhow, I am going to paste the governor's newsletter into the chat. And I wanted to also echo Lorna's message from Board of Water Supply about water conservation. We had a relatively dry winter, and so water conservation efforts from everyone would be greatly appreciated by everyone. So the other thing I wanted to report was, which you probably have heard in the news already, I'm going to get a link to this as well. About 3 weeks ago, there was a removal of about 45 homeless encampments on Diamond Head, and I know that that affects your area, so I'm just sharing with you the story that DLNR put out about that, and just the efforts that people are trying to take to handle the situation of all those encampments. I don't know. You may be able to tell me better whether people have returned to those areas or not, but I know efforts had been made to find services for them and help them relocate.
I can say from my own personal experience that I would say the numbers have remained the same or increased since 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I actually had a knife pulled on me by a woman who was smoking crack about a month ago, I want to say.
Where was that, Christian?
That was at Ocean View Cemetery. Actually, HPD responded like almost instantly and secured the scene, took her very safely into control, and then submitted her for mental health treatment at a secure facility. So hopefully she's getting the treatment that she desperately deserves and needs right now. But you know, I would like to point out a sort of disturbing repetition where people fly in, people go to Waikiki, people get kicked out of Waikiki because that's where the tourist money is, and then our community, Diamond Head, immediately right outside of Waikiki. So it seems as though our community kind of shares the brunt of these new faces that come and go. Yeah, we have a lot of people living in some of the canals, which is no way for a human being to live. Diamond Head as well, which, you know, we every time we talk about this, it's, oh, this is a national issue, oh, this is a state issue, oh, this is a city and county issue. Yeah, we could use some help. We would appreciate some help.
Yeah, the last action I was talking about was it was April. It was the last week of April or so, and that was the state as well as city and county, because, as you know, there's different jurisdictions depending on which side of the road you're on, basically. So that that happened, but yeah, you're dealing with people who, you cannot arrest someone obviously if they're not committing a crime, and being homeless is not a crime, of course. So
Absolutely.
then what you deal with is what you've encountered, which is confrontations that occur other places once they're
Mhm.
asked to move on from Diamond Head in this situation. So, but
Yeah,
anyway,
makes-
if anyone has additional concerns or about anything that you'd like me to take back to the governor's office, I'm happy to do so.
Does anybody have any comments for the representative from the governor's office?
Just one. In addition to the conflicts, we also have a lot of the opala coming down from the streams and canals that they're living under bridges and other areas along the stream. So that's a huge concern, particularly for our coral reefs and our fish and pollution to our swimmers, to people who just want to, go out there and enjoy themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I can understand that concern.
Does anybody in the community have any comments for the representative from the governor's office?
Just wanted to say big mahalo for trying to help with the homeless, but we've been observing that while the Malka side of Diamond Head Road is now happily clear, they seem to have moved to the beach side. So they just kind of alternate sides of the road and they're coming back.
Okay. Okay, thank you for letting us know that, because we don't always have our eyes and ears daily out there, and I know you do, so appreciate the feedback.
We're also seeing a lot of the homeless in the back of that Kāhala area as well too.
The
To those who
mall?
are living in that area, what would you call that area? Like back Kāhala, sort of where like Waiʻalae Gardens, the HOA is.
Okay.
Past the food
Oh, yeah.
land, further back.
Yep. Yep.
That is exactly where I got the knife pulled on me. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, or concerns for the representative from the governor's office? Ms. Jetty, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing what the governor can do to help us.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, up next, do we have a representative from the mayor's office? A representative from the mayor's office, Rick Belangiardi.
Aloha, Chair. I'm here.
Hey, John, how we doing?
Good. Good to see everybody on the Zoom. I have only a few updates for this evening. Wanted to touch on some highlights from the last mayor's newsletter. City and state leaders recruited more guardians ad litem to help with the assisted community treatment programs for Oahu's homeless community. Now that's significant because we have more people now who can take on the task of helping some of our unhoused and get into more assistive mental health treatment programs. So there's more about that in the mayor's newsletter. Mayor Belangiardi also signed some bills into law regarding Waikiki Street Festivals and outdoor dining rules. Recreational fishing returns to the world famous Ho'omaluhia Botanical Garden. City leaders unveiled a massive new solar canopy at the Blaisdell Center to celebrate Earth Day in Honolulu. And details on the first Malama Aina Day at Kalai o Kaunaoa at Datskahuku Point on Oahu's North Shore. Parks and Recreation wanted to remind everybody to get ready to register for a summer of fun classes at City Parks and Gardens. From Keiki to Kupuna, Waiʻanae to Waimanalo, season full of amazing recreation and educational opportunities is available to you at your City Parks and Gardens. Registration for Summer Fun 2025 will begin May 12th through May 16th, with enrichment class signups from May 15th to May 19th based on where your program is located. Enrollment in summer fun and enrichment classes will be primarily conducted online through the activities section of the Parks and Recreation online system, which is pros.hnl.info, though walk-in accommodations are available. The 2025 summer fun sites and which ones offer Summer Plus are indicated on the interactive summer fun map. And if anyone is looking for a fun part-time job this summer, this popular program still needs plenty of motivated workers to enrich our keiki with positive and empowering activities. To apply for some of the summer fun jobs, visit let's see, the easiest way to put it. Maybe I'll just throw it in the chat afterwards, the link for summer fun. And I have no updates from last time, but I stand ready to take in any concerns that we hear today in the course of the meeting.
All right. Does anybody on the board have any questions for the representative from the mayor's office? Anybody in the community have any questions, concerns for the representative from the mayor's office? You know, as we discussed with the governor's representative, Patty Jetty, you know, we are, you know, as the entire island is, everybody is dealing with this homeless issue. If I'd like to hear that there was collaboration, at least between the state and the city, which will allow hopefully for a little bit more of a proactive approach and a little bit more of a an effective solution, but more like that in the future, please. And yeah, not to sound like a broken record, but please help us, pretty please.
Not at all. And I completely understand the position you're coming from, Chair. Having experienced some violence from someone unhoused and with some mental illness, the same has happened to me before. So I'm not only empathetic, but I am sympathetic to what happened. And it just robs you of a sense of security in your own neighborhood when you experience these things.
Thank you, John. All right, Mr. Nucci, thank you so much for your time this evening. Let's see, up next, Honolulu City Council. Do we have a representative from Tommy Waters' office? Representative from Tommy Waters' office. Tommy Waters' office going once. Oh, Tasha. Oh, Tasha, we see your hand raised, but you're mute right now, so we cannot hear you. All right. Tasha, why don't we go on to the next person while we figure this out and then come right back to you. Yep. Can you unmute your computer? Nope, still nothing, unfortunately. Can you press the space bar?
Can you hear me now?
There we go. All right, we are back in action.
So sorry about that. Hi, thank you, Chair and members. I'm Tasha Luke. I am Chair Waters' new constituent services specialist. We had recently emailed a link to Chair's main newsletter, and I just wanted to point out a few highlights with that. And if it's okay, I'd like to share my screen. Go. Okay. So some highlights. First up, you'll see a wonderful welcome message from Chair Waters. Scrolling down, we have some notable bills and resolutions that were recently passed, including Bill 24 pertaining to Oahu's Primary Urban Core Development Plan, also known as PUCDP. It passed third reading in April. This bill creates a strategic plan for growth and development along the island's most heavily populated communities and neighborhoods. Chair Waters fought really hard to keep overdevelopment out of Kāhala. Also passed last month, Bill 18, passed third reading. It prohibits the sale of plastic bottles in city vending machines. Here we have some wonderful educators in the community that were recently honored. Taking a look at the Honolulu City Charters, Honolulu's version of the Constitution. It's now under review by the Charter Commission. Every 10 years, the mayor and city council appoint a charter commission to propose amendments for voters to consider for the November 2026 election. For example, in the last election, voters approved a new ocean safety department. And lastly, I wanted to highlight Honolulu's 311 app. It's a quick way to report concerns directly to departments and track updates in real time. And you can submit photos and drop a location pin. It's a great tool to use alongside our office. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Glad to see that we're cutting down on the usage of single-use plastics. That's always Nice to see less trash out on the streets. And Peter
Absolutely.
Dudgeon, I believe you've used the 311 app before. Is that correct? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Sorry, you're muted. We can't hear you. No worries. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, they actually respond. They respond quickly. Something is done about what I've asked about. And yeah, I think we're pretty lucky to have that. I don't know where they find the people to staff it, but somebody's doing a bit of work.
Absolutely. Well, if you know anything
Thank
about
you.
Peter Dudgeon, that is an absolute endorsement of this app. So everybody go and download this app, utilize it, go improve your own community, report the issues out there so the people who are paid to help deal with the stuff can deal with it, and we can make the community nicer for everybody. I will inspect your phones next meeting.
Unpaid endorsement.
Let's see. Does anybody have any questions for the representative from the Honolulu City Council, Tommy Waters' office? Any community members, comments, questions, concerns for the representative from the Honolulu City Council? Oh, good. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to meet you, Tasha. We look forward to seeing you around.
Thank you so much.
Let's see. Up next. Is anybody from Mark Hasham's office here? Marco Hasham. Going once. Going twice. All right. We've got her here live in person for one night only at the Honolulu Bowl. Coming out of left field, introducing Tina Grandinetti.
The introductions just keep getting better. Thank you. Hello. We finished the 2025 legislative session at the beginning of this month. Some big picture updates from the House, or from the legislature as a whole, I guess. I am really proud of the work we did this session. I think it was a pretty good one. There are some disappointments, and I always, have the feeling that we're not doing enough, especially with the crisis happening at the federal level. I will go through the disappointments first. We failed to pass campaign finance reform, which was a really big issue in my election for District 20. So I know people in this community really care about it. It didn't make it through to the finish line this session, but we'll try again next session. What else? I had my disappointments ready, and then I can only think of that one. Okay, I guess you're doing good. I will move on to, sorry, ethics. Yeah, I'm part of the Good Governance Caucus, and none of our bill package and none of the other clean elections bills made it through. So I think that's a pretty big one. But we did do some good work. We passed a historic green fee, which will increase our transient accommodations tax and also start charging the cruise ships that come into our ports, which have never been actually charged for the impact they have on our state. And so we'll be taking those monies and using them to fund climate resilience and natural resource management. So that, has been years in the making. I'm really proud of that one. And another bright spot for me was we expanded access to free school meals. The advocates and the students were really pushing for universal free school meals so we can get rid of the stigma around, subsidized meal programs and make sure every kid is being fed and learning. But we didn't quite get there, but we significantly expanded access to free school meals. So that's going to be really important for our working families. On my personal bill package, I got one bill through to the finish line with the help of Senator Stanley Chang. It is a bill that sounds really wonky. It prevents foreclosed properties from being bundled at auction. And it allows community organizations and the city and state the first opportunity to bid and match a bid for that property. So it sounds really wonky, but what it's really about is preventing outside investors from grabbing lands in the case of a foreclosure crisis or a post-disaster area like Lahaina. So we know we're going to have a lot of homes go up for foreclosure, and this is going to prevent them from being bundled so that only investors can afford to bid. And it's also going to give community organizations like community land trusts the first opportunity to place a bid. So it's really about keeping local homes in local hands. One of my bills that I was really excited about, which would provide protections to tenants who are displaced by state and federally financed housing projects, did not make it through, but we're going to try really hard next session. And as vice chair of the Transportation Committee, we had several bills go through that I think are going to be of interest to this neighborhood board. We passed 2 sources of dedicated funding for safe routes to school, which is one of our best tools for expanding our pedestrian and bicycle networks. And we also passed a bill to establish a statewide regulatory framework for e-bikes. So I know we have some folks who hate them, some folks who love them, and what this bill will do when it's signed into law is help to add clarity so that we can actually expand access to micromobility by getting consumers, retailers, and law enforcement all on the same page and getting riders educated about how to be responsible on the roads. Yeah, I think, the last thing is the state House and the Senate have agreed to 3 tentative dates to hold a special session later in the year. I think we will most likely, none of those dates have been decided on, as like we haven't gotten the full commitment to come back for a special session. If you think this is important, this is probably one thing that you could reach out to your representatives, including myself, and show that you want this to happen. But basically, this special session would allow us to come back after the federal budget has been passed and address any urgent needs, potentially allocate more funds. We set aside $50 million in emergency grants and aid for nonprofits that'll be impacted by federal cuts. And the special session would allow us to allocate additional funding or, address any really urgent policy concerns. Thank you. Here for questions. Sorry, I went on really long.
I have 2 quick questions for you. So the 2 shot downs, the campaign reform
Mhm.
and the food for children,
Mhm.
those didn't make it.
Mhm.
If you had to name one person for each of those, for the reason why we are not giving food to children and keeping dirty money out of politics, you had to place a little bit of blame just anywhere, perhaps.
I will take that conversation offline. No, but I think that there's, I think for those 2, I actually don't have a single person to place blame on. For the campaign finance reform, it's a little murky. We did have strong commitments from both of the judiciary chairs in the House and Senate. And then you can read in Civil Beat that it was House and Senate leadership that kind of intervened in weakening the bill first, and then it didn't get fiscal release. And then
And
for
the name of that leadership or leaders, we're here for anything.
the House Finance Chair was Kyle Yamashita. We have actually House leadership decided to install a new Finance Chair, Representative Chris Todd, and then Senate Ways and Means Chair is Donovan Dela Cruz. And for
The food for
the
children.
food for children, again, I think that came down to fiscal concerns, but I would say that it's a matter of principle. It's like some folks really believe that if you have the means to pay, you should pay, and that universal free school meals would commit public funds to people who can afford to pay for school lunch. and breakfast. And there are others who think it doesn't matter, we should feed every child in our public school system. I'm in that camp, but given our budget constraints, I think the other camp won out this time. But we did make very significant progress thanks to the advocates and the student leaders.
Thank you for that feedback. We love it. Does anybody on the board have any questions for Representative Grandinetti?
On the cruise bill, is that just for passengers or is it also for staff?
I think it's by room. I
By
think.
room.
Yeah. So it's just like how the transient accommodation fee works when you
And
book.
do you know how much it is?
I
per
don't
room?
remember the specifics offhand.
Yeah.
1%. 1% of the cost of the room. There you go.
Isn't transient accommodation tax like 15? Or...
But the amount that's dedicated to the green fee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Understandable. Anybody in the community? Questions, concerns, comments? Representative here live in the flesh. Online, anybody? We are good to roll. As always, thank you so much for showing up in person. It means a lot to us. Right. And last up on the list, do we have a representative from Senator Stanley Chang's office? Senator Stanley Chang. Con tres, con dos, con uno. Finito. All right. On to the next. Resident community concerns. We have the community. They're here live and in person. We'd like to hear from you.
Aloha. I just have a general question on whether anyone knows if the Kāhala Community Association is still active. And the reason I'm asking that is because normally they're the ones who help enforce compliance with our CCNRs. And I'm seeing what appears to be violations. I tried to find someone from the KCA to talk to and can't seem to reach them.
I'm going to be completely honest. I have never even heard of the KCA. And I would love to learn more about it and see if we can find somebody who's still operating it. And if not so, then let's get moving and grooving.
Yeah, if you go to their website, they are a nonprofit and their whole goal was to really embody the CCNRs. Those are layered on top of building permits. They actually override building permit requirements like things on setback, maintaining landscaping and what have you. I know because it came after us when we renovated our house, 20 years ago, but they're the ones who really look at what the community values are and make sure that those are enforced. Those restrictions are part of the deed when someone gets fee title to properties in our district. So we are seeing what appears to be violations and we don't have anyone to go to now to double check.
If you would be able to wait after we finish up here for 5 minutes, I would love to talk with you about this. Thank you so much. And it's so funny that you point that out because I've been noticing that a lot of the landscaping, a lot of the growth in the streets and the general cleanliness and presentation has been at an all-time low. And it would be nice to see that change. Let's see. Anybody else in the community have any questions, comments, concerns? Oh, Mr. Nikolai, we see you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can indeed. How are you this evening?
Okay, great. I'm back in front of this board at the request of neighbors concerning 954 Kāhala Olu Place fence, which appears to be unchanged. Neighbors around as well as on the other side of the golf course have contacted me, and they're concerned that the owner appears to have no intention of removing the fence. They're ignoring the neighbors, the Waiʻalae Kāhala neighborhood board, Councilman Waters, etc. And we would like to ask that both Tasha from Tommy Waters' office and the neighborhood board follow up with DPP and require that owner to remove their unpermitted fence.
We will absolutely be doing that on the neighborhood board side. Tasha, are you still there?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, Tasha. Sorry, I know you weren't a part of this since you've recently just joined us on this session. So let's catch you up on a little quick lore. But Mr. Nikolai right here lives in a lovely part of Kāhala. All of his neighbors, they obey the zoning and they have beautiful homes. And unfortunately, somebody has decided to move in right next to him and build a house made entirely out of granite and large windows next to a golf course, which, you know, I have opposing views on, but they've been complaining that golf balls are breaking their windows, which is a huge surprise to everybody involved in this circumstance. But unfortunately, they've put up a 30-foot golf net to prevent the balls from reaching their property, which is a violation of the zoning in the area, as you are not allowed to have anything over 6 feet without proper permitting from the DPP. And so we reached out to the DPP and we said, are you going to, because they said that they were going to try and get permitting on this. They said, we will not be issuing permitting for this and this needs to be removed because it is an illegal structure and has been permanently installed. That letter came to us from the DPP. They said that they were going to notify the folks who had purchased this home and were building these unpermitted structures. And now it's sounding like they don't give, well, the time of day to they listen to the city and county or to really anybody in the neighborhood. Do you have thoughts on that?
I thank you for your concern and your comment. I will definitely bring this back to Chair Waters' office and we'll see what we can do.
Awesome. I, for one, would love to see some very big monetary fines levied since they've already been informed and they have notice. But that's just me personally. And I know Mr. Nicolay over here has been more than patient. I think we're on month 7 now, month 8. Yep, month 8.
Probably month 12, but that's fine. My only comment is that I don't think that monetary penalties particularly matter to these people. They don't live here. They probably have more money than all of us. So I leave it to you guys to determine what's the most appropriate action.
We'll definitely look into this.
Okay.
Something direct.
Tasha, thank you very much on behalf of all of the neighbors and the people who live on our little street. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tasha. Appreciate you. And thank you, Jim, for coming back and making sure that we know about this. Appreciate that as well.
No problem. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Go on. Oh, John, I see you raised your hand.
Yeah, could I get that address again? I'm gonna redirect back to DPP on that. Was it 954 Kealaolu?
Yes, that's correct.
Jim, if you could do me a favor too, if you could type that address in the chat.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. It's 949 Kealaolu Place, not Avenue.
Okay, and if you could
949 Kealaolu. Oh, I'm sorry, Chair. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
I should defer to you.
No, I was gonna say, Jim, if you could just drop that address in the chat, just so there's no misunderstanding whatsoever.
Yes, I'll do that right now.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right. Do we have any other resident concerns, comments, questions, criticisms? Once, twice, thrice. Up next, board business. Approval of last month's minutes. Sylvia, am I getting the thumbs up? Perfect. All right, we've got the corrections. Does anybody else have any comments on the minutes? Any changes? All right. Can I get a second? Perfect. All in favor? All opposed? Good. Motion passes. Okay. All right. He's not here. Okay. Oh, something really fun and exciting in our community. The Department of Parks and Recreation, great organization in our government, is doing a proposal right now for increasing the amount of dog-friendly parks in our community. They are taking community feedback as to which parks we would like to see more dogs at, which means Let's see. They want the discussion of allowing leash dogs in more city parks, which in currently several parks is illegal, including Ala Moana. Really? Oh my God. Okay, including Ala Moana Beach Park, which is just craziness. There's my first vote. They want input on parks and supporting measures such as signage, waste bags, community resources, so that if your dog poops at the park, you can pick it up. Other things, bowls of water, water fountains, whatever it may be. If you have a dog, if you don't have a dog and enjoy seeing dogs out in nature, please reach out to DPR. They're going to be doing public feedback. It's encouraged all throughout the summer. So we have a couple of months to get your friends, to get your families, to voice their comments, to say which parks they would like their dogs at. If you have a park in your community, you've ever been ticketed for it, feel free to get that park exempt now. So reach out to DPR, tell them which parks you would like to see more dogs at, which parks you would like to have these friendly, lovely animals running around, and let's make our community, what'd you say? On leashes, of course. But let's make our community a little bit more dog friendly if that's your thing. All right, announcements up next. Oh. I believe so. My understanding is I was just sent an email saying that they're taking in what city say it's that the back and forth. Oh, do we have anybody from the Department of Parks and Recreation here with us this evening? No. Yeah, I apologize if any miscommunication occurred, but the memorandum I received was just saying that they were taking comments, and I was asked to let everybody know that they would be taking comments throughout the summer months. So if you have a park or you don't want to see dogs in your community or whichever way you may lay, please. Oh, very nice. Hi, nice to meet you, Franklin. Oh, sorry, if you could talk into the mic just so we could have everything. Oh.
The Kamiki board also received that email, and the chair, Brian, had sent it to everybody else as well. But maybe I just misunderstood the agenda here. When I looked at it, I thought there was going to be a presentation by Parks and Rec. So anyway.
If you'll give me 2 seconds just to pull up that email real quick, let me double check that, but. Yep. So at the beginning of June, they held a press conference on the issue, issued a press release. Yeah, so they're saying that if you have any questions or comments regarding this push, please reach out to their information specialist, Nate Sirota, at nathan.sirota@honolulu.gov. And I can forward you that email if you'd like, sir. Okay. Okay. I apologize for the miscommunication on that. But any excuse to have a member from a neighboring board come in. Other than that, announcements. Our next regular meeting will be Thursday, June 19th. Alawai Golf Course Clubhouse, second floor, where we are right here, not back at Kāhala, right back here. Can I get a motion? Mm-hmm. No. Can I get a motion? Nope, all right. I believe we are all finished then. Rich, you came just in time. Oh, please.
Is there from Tommy Waters' office still here?
Hi, I'm still here.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah, I am. Again, sorry I'm late. I went to the governor's re-election announcement this afternoon, figuring, well, I mean, that'd be fun, but also not useless for a neighborhood board member to be there. And I had a little talk with Mayor Blangiardi. This is kind of a residents' concern thing here. We have a heavy-duty homeless person on Kāhala Avenue. She spent a few nights sleeping on my lawn on Kāhala Avenue. I was very adamant about calling the police. The police really didn't do anything, but finally I told her she had to leave, that she was breaking the law, trespassing. She had several huge shopping carts with her. She really kind of was setting up house. She set up a blanket on my lawn. A very adamant lady. And when finally I convinced her that I was not going to give up, that she had to leave, she moved down the street to 4840 Kāhala Avenue, set up camp there. The neighbors in that area across the street were a little bit more polite than I was. Really called the police. Nothing has happened. I mentioned it to Mayor Blangiardi tonight at the event for Governor Green, and he said that he would look into it, but I would like City Council Chair Waters to really look into it. She is quite a forceful lady in her 60s, very adamant about shacking up there on the lawns in Kāhala Avenue. This is right 4840 Kāhala Avenue, if you need an address. That's where she's living now, right next to Waiʻalae, Waiʻalae Beach Park, very near the Waiʻalae Country Club. And she's quite a grande dame. She's a really grande dame homeless lady, very determined about becoming a resident of the community there. I don't think she's interested in running for the neighborhood board elections, as far as I can tell. But if you can activate the HPD and get her out of there, there will be a big cheer from the neighbors of Kāhala Avenue. So if you could help, really appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. I will bring this back to Chair Waters' office. Thank you.
Yeah, please do. She's very, very much out there, and very, very conspicuous and proud of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing back the word grande dame. That's exciting. No, it's an excellent term. Other than that, unless we have anything else, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned for the evening. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in. You are all appreciated. All of your time is appreciated. We look forward to seeing you back here next month. And download that 311 app so we can make the community even better. Thank you all.